whew. That's all I can say. Just whew. It happens again, and it's been happening on a regular basis. We've been blessed once again to have the great Mark Puttenvink on. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Very good. But weather's getting nice. You are getting dark. Look at you.
Yeah, pretty soon you won't even see me.
No, that's not what we're wishing for. Awful. How's your weekend? Good outside all?
Yeah, I was outside. It was gorgeous. It was gorgeous today too. I'm going to do some training outside later.
Yeah, good. We were at Walman Rink in Central Park. They had a outdoor viewing party.
I saw that. That looked cool.
It was pretty cool. Yeah, it was myself.
That must have been fun to go to, just as a fan or anybody. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a blast. We were because usually they have them in bars or restaurants and that so it's kind of crowded and you're sitting around. Yeah. This one, I was acting like a total goof. They had like big cutouts of Chris Kreider and Terry Panarin. So I got in behind Panarin's cutout and I had my arms out like he was Panarin's arms, I'm playing the music and I'm dancing and everything. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was good. I was like a little kid. I had a great time. The weather was fantastic.
Beautiful weather.
Yeah. Well, before I forget too, I know you know this. I have forgot to. I guess we don't say happy D-Day. It's more remembrance of
remembrance. Yeah.
Was it 75 years today?
I believe it's 75 or 70.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. I'll tell you in a minute. I think it's 75 or 78 for some reason, but yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah, definitely. So we like to have some fun on this show, but a friend of ours that helps out with the swim across the Hudson. What's Brad's last name?
Haberlin. Haberlin. Haberlin.
So he had an accident recently. Can you tell me what you feel comfortable explaining in public? We just like to Brad's been very helpful to swim across the Hudson. We just want to make sure we're saying hello to him.
Well, first of all, Brad's a really close friend of ours. He's in our kind of like our inner circle, right, Tom? Of Bill and Johnny and all those guys, and we're all pretty tight. And so a week ago Thursday, Brad's one of those guys. He's got a mortgage company called Legacy Mortgage. He also flips homes, but he's one of those guys. I'll call him 5 a.m. like you and I talk early, and he's already laying pavers. Like you know what I mean? He's like he doesn't hire guys to do the work. He does it. So he's a really hands-on, hardworking man. He's got a family. He's got 2 little babies at home. So last week ago Thursday, he was home and he was doing some work around the house, and I guess he had the table saw out. And it was the old story. It just takes one quick second of not paying attention. And the best I can tell, he was pushing a piece of wood. The wood got sucked into the saw, and it dragged his left hand through the saw. It immediately took all 5 fingers off. I'm sorry, all 5. Brad actually had to look through the yard, through the grass to find his fingers. So he lives in Moonachie, New Jersey. They wanted to airlift him to New York. And he said, dude, guys, just put me in an ambulance like right across the river. Don't airlift me. And they did. And they took him to NYU Bellevue. And apparently, to my understanding, what Brad was telling me, not that this is a common injury, but this particular hospital deals a lot with this in the tri-state area with this injury. Because the guy next to him, same thing, same accident. And the guy that was in Brad's bed, so to speak, before he got the room, same exact thing happened. So Brad told me the pinky gone for good. Ring finger is functional. As we speak now, his middle finger and his index finger are on, but they're not functional. And they're working really hard to make sure nothing, because there's a little bit question mark on the thumb. And as you all know, try to do something without your thumb. It's pretty tough.
Yeah, you can go without the pinky, right? I mean, you can.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, the thumb is really important. I mean, just try to get something out of your pocket without your thumb. It's pretty difficult. So it was a terrible, terrible accident, and being who we are, like a little bit of a brotherhood with Tom and all the guys, we got together and Beth cooked a home cooked meal, and we got that down to his wife, Christina, to help them out. And Bill and John went into the city Thursday to see Brad at the hospital, which really lifted his spirits, So
where's Bellevue? That NYU Bellevue. Whereabouts?
So it's on 1st and I think East 26th Street. So you'd get off the FDR Drive.
Okay.
It's pretty far downtown.
Right.
Yeah,
I know where you mean. Then okay, cool. And he's going to be in there a while, right?
Yeah. So what they're doing now, it's kind of crazy, but believe it or not, they have leeches on his hand because the circulation wasn't great, and they need to get this obviously blood flow going again. Right. And my layman understanding of it is that the leeches actually draw the blood to the wound
Oh,
to
wow.
promote healing.
Wow.
Yeah.
We
So it's
should
crazy.
try to get to see him too.
Yeah, maybe I can meet you in the city or something, and
Yeah.
we'll head over.
Yeah, we've been in the city a lot with a lot of ranger events, so
Yeah.
if
Okay.
nothing's coming up, we'll make a trip in there.
So he's got a pretty tough road ahead of him. I mean, if Brad's a fighter, he's a tough guy. He's one of my boxers. We went down to Florida last year, and he won his first amateur fight. Was really exciting. But yeah,
okay, yes, I remember that. Yes, yeah.
Just a great guy, great family man, beautiful family. So we're going to do what we can do to help him through this, and he'll get through it.
Yeah, it is one of those things. He's obviously not going to be the same as far as his hand, but
right.
If you get it so it's functional, he can continue to work and do all the stuff he loves doing. Then
I'm sure he will. He's the kind of guy whatever, he'll get it done. So
that reminds me of the old farm days where a lot of that stuff happened on the farm all the time. Yeah.
Well, my grandfather on my mother's side owned a machine shop,
right.
And my grandfather and 2 out of the 3 boys are missing fingers.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it was. And then when my first wife, my only wife, Carrie, my boy's mother, met the family, she's like, "Can I ask you a question?" I go, "What? How come nobody has all their fingers?"
That's funny.
I said, "Well, we're not Japanese, or if we were, we'd be in the Yakuza."
I give him credit, right? Because imagine when that happens to you, what's going through your mind. Then have the presence to now go looking for your fingers, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Obviously, he's bleeding. I'm assuming he put a tourniquet on to help stop the bleeding.
Yeah, I'm sure he reacted really quick, and which I'm sure helped preserve whatever he's going to, what the final outcome is going to be, and just shows you just one split second and not thinking, and your world can change real quick.
Yeah. Thanks, Brendan.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thanks, Brendan.
Best wishes. This is from Brendan Duffy, very knowledgeable man. Leeches prevent clotting and improve circulation.
Well, one of the things, Brendan, he's been I said, "You getting any sleep?" He said, "No," because what happens is a leech will fall off. He's got to ask for the nurse. The nurse has to come. Then they got to get the doctor in. So he's up all night getting, repairs, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird, right? Like some of the leeches, they gather his hand in a bag or something like that.
I don't know how exactly they do it, but it's kind of surprising. It's 2022 and we're still using stuff, but it works.
Yeah,
it works.
Totally. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah. I got to tell you, since we had a conversation about a month ago about farm boy training, more like a farm boy. So we talk, and there's all kinds of different methods, and you talk to 10 different trainers, you got 10 different ideas, and they're all good ideas probably too. But Mark and I were talking about, look at farm boys, just some old pictures of Bobby Hull, and they were working on the farm in those days, just jacked, right? Yeah. You think about it, they're not they're doing the same thing every day. When it's baling season, they're out there baling hay every day. And I remember when I was a kid, same thing. You're jacked at the end of the summer from baling hay all the time. So and Mark was talking about going more like doing the same exercises every day. I've switched it to more having an upper body day and a lower body day. So I'm hitting the same muscles a lot more. Man, I've had some great work. I'm feeling ripped from
no, that's great.
Yeah.
And one of the things, Tom, one of my books, there's a guy by the name of Erasmus. He was a late 1400s, like 80 to 15. I think he died in 1536. He was a philosopher. And he was also, I think, a Catholic theologian. But in any event, he wrote 22 principles to remain strong and virtuous in a dangerous world. And it's really interesting. And one of them is, and I really like this one, and this I'll show you how this can work for us, is the enemy you ignore is the enemy that will conquer you. So as it applies to training, there's certain things we all hate doing, but we need to do them. I don't particularly like to do hyperextensions, but you need to do them because they're so critical for your low back strength.
Right.
And, if you ignore that, then you're going to have issues, right? Everybody, or I should say most people dread leg day.
Right.
But like I tell people, listen, how many times can you fire a cannon out of a canoe? One time. Huh? You need a strong foundation, right?
That's good. That's good. How many times can you fire a cannon out of a canoe? Yeah. So if you don't have a strong foundation, that's excellent. Can I use that one?
Absolutely. Nice. Absolutely. And really what made me think of it, Tom, years ago up in Albany, the only thing we had was a leg sled. Yeah. In the room because it's American League. And at the time. And it's probably much better now. But
Right.
I told the guys, that's great. You're developing good leg strength, but you're not delivering any core strength. And and that's the principle. Like you're gonna go stand somebody up on the blue line. You're gonna get run right over. You have the leg strength, but you don't have the stabilizing group. So you need that foundation. Yeah,
that's true. My core, since I've learned to work on my core, my back doesn't bother me anymore. I feel more like just balanced and everything. I can do more stuff like doing that.
You watch guys that are tough to bounce off the puck.
Yeah.
I would venture to say, well, obviously they have a great balance and have great edge work, but they also probably, my guess is they do a lot of stabilizing work, like on a Bosu ball and things where you're uncomfortable and you got to really, it's not the big muscles, but the little muscles. And again, if you ignore those little muscles, that's the enemy that's going to conquer you. Yeah.
Ketchup, when I first turned pro with the New York Rangers, Ketchup, he played for many years, had a great career. So wasn't this muscled up guy, but he worked on a farm during the summer, I think too. And muscled up guy, and he's one of those guys you go to hit him, it's like you're hitting a post or something. That. He's not going anywhere.
And he only weighed about 190 maybe.
Yeah, fun guy. What a great character he was.
Great hockey player.
Yeah,
unfortunately, use him right now.
Yeah, well, the Rangers. I don't know. You could argue that some people say, well, they're giving up too many chances. Shesterkin's having to do too much. Well, that is who the Rangers are right now.
Right.
It's been
kind of a run and gun team.
Yeah, it's like they score enough goals. They get great goaltending. I love the way they're playing.
I just initially didn't have a good feel about yesterday. I mean, they were due to have a little bit of a letdown.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that it's a certain thing, but and Tampa Bay was a little undisciplined yesterday too because they were getting a little frustrated.
Well, I think one of their tactics is trying to get to Shesterkin and bump into them.
It's obvious what they're doing.
Rightfully so, the referees call the penalties all the time. So. I just don't know. I don't think the power play was that great for the Rangers yesterday. It's been pretty good for them lately. So,
but you know what? I was thinking about it this morning. Their PP and Tampa's PP is basically the same thing. Set up the one-timer from the left wall with Z or with Stamkos. So my thing is, I'm sure there's a lot smarter people than me out there, but keep the puck on the left side of defensively try to force the puck to that side of the wall so that pass can't come from the other side.
And I hear you too, but it reminds me when it was Gretzky and Curry.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
And it's true. You knew it was coming. Same thing with Ovechkin. Ovechkin is the same way. You know it's coming.
He's all alone and he just hammers it. But the problem with Tampa Bay is
the problem is though trying to stop them. It's they're smart enough to just move farther away, move farther up. Or Gretzky in particular would use the saucer pass. Just get over top of your stick.
Well, they have an advantage and Rangers don't. So we really rely on Z for his one-timer. They've got Kucherov on the other side.
Yeah,
so if Stamkos is jammed up, they can swing it the other way, and Kuch can take a one-timer. And that guy played one hell of a game yesterday.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
he's a hell of a hockey player.
No, you're good. So I just think for anybody to beat the Rangers right now, as long as Shesterkin's playing the way he's playing, you've got to score. You got to score at least 3 goals, and that's tough to do against them. But all right, training. Man, I got I made a homemade ketchup yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so instead of using the sugar, I got roasted tomatoes. I roasted up peppers. I roasted up the garlic. I sauteed the onions and mixed in some other spices and stuff like that. So it was very little salt, no sugar whatsoever. But because I roasted everything, it got that sweetness to it. So it turned out pretty good. Yeah, it's good.
No, it's amazing how if you try to do stuff from scratch, when you do it, it does come out a hell of a lot better. Than you can store-bought. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, I guess I didn't realize. Actually, my sons came over the other day and they looked in my refrigerator and they go, "Dad, the only bad thing you got in the refrigerator now is that ketchup." And I really didn't think too much about it, but you look at the ingredients. There's a lot of sugar and salt.
The traditional ketchup, it's water or tomato, water, and then the third one or second one is high fructose corn syrup. Yeah. If you don't watch the label,
Yeah. So high fructose corn syrup, does that just turns into fat?
No, high fructose corn syrup is sugar, and it's a really processed sugar, and it's very high on the glycemic index. So the glycemic index is a number that indicates how fast, that sugar enters your bloodstream. So the higher on the glycemic index, you're going to get that initial rush of energy, and then you're going to take a hard crash. So you want to before a game, let's say, you want to eat low glycemic carbs, so you get this slow, steady drip of energy throughout the game. Oranges are really good to do in between periods.
Right.
In fact, Mike Richter used to have them all around his feet.
Yeah, that's why we do them all the time. Huh? That's right.
Yeah.
What I didn't realize ketchup was that bad for you. I knew it wasn't good for you, but I didn't realize.
Well, again, ketchup in and of itself isn't bad. It's the high fructose corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup is a really high processed corn product, and it wasn't really introduced to the American diet till like around the late 70s because it's really cheap to manufacture and it's effective as far as a flavoring agent. Problem is, if you look at the introduction of high fructose corn syrup into the American diet and the spike in clinical obesity, there's a direct parallel line almost. Yeah, diabetes. It's really been.
It's amazing we've got all these knowledge about these foods. So let's compare it to cigarette smoking. So we learned that cigarette smoking has lung cancer, causing cancer, other cancers, and all that. So you can't eliminate it altogether, but they stop advertising it on TV, right? And now we got all these bad foods. We know they're bad foods for us, but they're still continuing to advertise them on TV.
It's really disappointing because when I go to a food shop, I'm a pretty observant person. I'm looking around and seeing just what's going on. And I hate to say it, but more often than not, I will see people that are obese and you look in their shopping cart and it's all processed frozen pizza, a lot of snacks like, not only brand names, but soda. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, we want to be careful. We're not when we say obese, we're not trying to be critical of people saying, commenting on their weight or their looks. It's the medical part of it. It's their health issues.
Right.
So
you almost want to shake them and say, hey, listen, man,
I know.
What are you doing?
And doing it's just not all of it. So discipline's part of it too, but knowledge is a big part of it. Understanding what,
Absolutely.
Like you just had that explanation about corn syrup and all that, what it does to your body. If people really knew what it was doing to the body, they'd probably make better choices. Right?
Yeah, there was an interesting book I read 1,000 years ago. It's called Metabolism: How Your Body Converts Food into Energy, and it's by Dr. Lawrence Lamb, and he goes right through carbohydrate, protein, fat, and alcohol, and what it does to your body. So one of the interesting things I learned from that book, of many things, but alcohol, your body can't identify alcohol as a protein or a carbohydrate or as a fat. So it just stores it in your body, not as fat, but as it bumps up your insulin. And that's why you see like the beer belly, right? It also reduces your testosterone level. I'm talking about, alcohol abuse, obviously. But yeah, it interrupts your testosterone production. But your body doesn't know what to do with it. So it just stores it. And it really, again, you'll see the feminization of men too, where they get man boobs and they get.
Right. Yeah. So alcohol is bad for you. But if people want to have a cocktail, what's the best alcohol to drink?
There isn't a best. I mean, they're all. So in other words, one shot of bourbon is equivalent to a full can of beer in terms of the alcohol percentage, roughly. Right. It could be a little more, a little less. Alcohol in and of itself is not terrible. It's the abuse. I mean, if you drink constantly or not constantly, but often enough, you're gonna get the detrimental parts to it. Where are the?
But I've been told that a clear tequila and a clear vodka are, if you're going to, yes, not good for you, but not as bad.
Well, I think from a standpoint where the colored like bourbons and ryes and stuff, they do have color.
Right. There's
something to that. Tequila is a probiotic. Tequila is probably one of the healthier alcohols to consume. Just don't drink the whole bottle.
I feel better. I feel better now.
Yeah, I feel better already.
I like my tequila.
Yeah. But no, it's a probiotic. Yeah.
It is funny how your mind kind of does tricks on you too. So I've juiced up some carrots, celery, and cucumber mixed with my tequila. Mixed with tequila. So it's healthy.
Yeah. Well, I was telling Beth what she should do is she grows mint out here, right?
Oh.
So take mint, put it in an ice cube tray, and then you put the cubes in and have the mint in it, and then you can mix it with whatever you want. And you have yeah.
So what does the mint do for you? I mean, is there something?
It's flavor. So in other words, as some ice is melting in your cocktail, you get that mint flavor. So like you're making a mojito or something that has mint in it. Yeah.
I got you. Yeah. Okay. Very good. I did when I first got the juicer a few years ago too. I was all fired up. I think it was a Super Bowl. I had a couple of cocktails already, so I juiced up a whole bunch of stuff, beets and everything, and put it with tequila. So I told everybody that was a tequila salad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they do use alcohol in cooking quite often, right? I mean, flambe and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Totally. So when I first got divorced many years ago, my boys were small, didn't know how to cook at all. So my boys and I would watch all the cooking shows like Emerald and all those, and they're very good cooks now too. They're adults and done well. But one time, it's funny because you mentioned about putting alcohol in some of these. They put the alcohol in, cook it down, and it gets all the flavor and everything. So I was making fried rice one day, and I got the brilliant idea that I was going to put Sambuca in it. Okay. So I go through the process. I didn't taste it. Obviously know how sweet Sambuca is. My boys are smaller, obviously smaller. So I put it down on the table there, and I had gotten to feel pretty good about my cooking, got some confidence going, and they're now basically gagging. Dad, we can't eat. And I'm giving it the old, I just slaved over a hot stove. You're going to eat that no matter what. So I sit down to eat stuff. It's just awful.
You're right, guys. This is tough.
I think I felt so bad. I think I took him to the toy store. I felt so bad. I was trying to poison my own kids or something. So.
Well, years ago, I got the bright idea. I was going to make macaroni and cheese from scratch, right?
Oh,
I didn't know. And Sean was probably 10 or 11, and Ty was like 8 or 9. So I just boiled pasta, and I took, Velveeta. I melted it and just put it together. Not knowing you're supposed to bake it. It's got to have all this other stuff, right? So I serve it to him. I walk out the room. I come in. Boys, how's it? And Sean doesn't really say too much. He just goes, I said, how's the mac and cheese, guys? Sean goes, it's more like mac and blob. It just kind of congealed into one nasty-looking lump. Yeah,
that's funny.
Try, dog. Give it the old effort.
I make a pretty good homemade mac and cheese. Yeah. Oh, put a little flour.
Yeah, that's what Beth made for Brad's family. A big tray of it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we made some salad and kid-friendly stuff because she's got the 2 little ones.
Yeah. Good. So we're getting that time of the year where we got to start promoting our event, and I keep getting messed up. It's either August 6th or August 9th.
August 6th.
August 6th.
This past Saturday, Will ran test swim down in Long Branch, New Jersey. Nice. Good out. So the test swim, just for those who don't know, obviously the SEALs don't need to take the test swim because they're SEALs. But anybody who is not a SEAL has to do the test swim if they want to participate in the swim.
Right. So again, just so everybody understands, we have a swim across the Hudson. I say we. Mark and his team. Mark does a lot of work on it, preparing for it. So it's basically mostly Navy SEALs, probably over 200 guys this year. This will be the 4th annual swim across the Hudson. So they have a fantastic ceremony at Liberty State Park in New Jersey. And then the guys, they do 100 push-ups, 22 pull-ups. The pull-ups are to recognize the average of 22 suicides every year amongst veterans in the military. So then they swim from Ellis Island over to a barge. Again, do 100 push-ups, 22 pull-ups. Swim to another barge, same thing, 100 push-ups, 22 pull-ups, and then swim to Lower Manhattan. And I'll tell you, it's a fantastic day, very patriotic, emotional day. Mm-hmm. Some great scenes. There's that monument there, Liberty State Park, where it's like a hallway, basically. And if you look down the hallway, it goes right to the site of 9/11. And it's got all the names of the people that we lost on that day. And then when they get to Lower Manhattan, and again, you get all these Navy SEALs and everybody else have to fit. And they're all wearing like the little Daisy Duke shorts or whatever we call. And these guys are jacked. And then when they get to Lower Manhattan, they've all got a flag on a pole on the shoulder. They're marching down the streets of Manhattan. The bagpipes are playing. And I'm telling you, the goosebumps and everything are fantastic. And then once they get to Lower Manhattan, they go to a monument there and do another 100 push-ups and 22 pull-ups. Mm-hmm. It's something else. It's fun to be a part of. So that's August 6th.
Incredible day.
Right. Yeah, I encourage anybody to try to get to it. We'll have more information as the date gets closer. The timing of it during the day changes based on the tides.
Next Thursday, Tom, we're doing the first of the dial-in swims.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Where I'll be out on the water with the guys. They're going to do the swim because they're checking currents. They do one on the 16th and then another one in a few weeks, and then Bill will be able to figure out exactly when. Because if you remember last year, we got wet, or they got wet much later in the day than we did the prior years, and it all has to do with the current.
Yeah, and it was. I remember too. It was interesting when they were swimming to Lower Manhattan off the last barge. They told the guys, "Listen, here's where you're getting out of the water, but you've got to aim for this spot here because the tide is going to carry there. The currents carry that from."
Comes across.
Cool. So
that's going to be great.
Yeah, and that again is for the GI Go Fund, which does a lot of things around the metropolitan area, helping vets find jobs, helping them financially, if and all. So if anybody wants to donate or get involved, so it's GI Go.
It's gigofund.org, and just go to that page, and probably the first thing you're going to see is a Navy SEAL swim. So if you want to make a donation or you need information on the time and how to watch the swim, it'll be on that website, gigofund, one word, .org.
Yeah. So Mark does a ton of work preparing. Got to get all the barges ready, all the boats set up. There's a lot of work behind the scenes. And now it's even harder because you get more people. In the first year, there was what, like 25, 30 the first year?
33 SEALs. It was only Navy SEALs, no one else. Or I shouldn't say it. One Patriot, Ryan Menke. He's out of Indiana. Great Patriot, great guy. But since then, we've had, I think the second year was, I want to say 10 or 12 Patriots. And then last year, I think we were like 40 to 50 additional Patriot swimmers. And the Patriots are either first responders, law enforcement, military veterans. We actually, and last year we had I think 3 current Division I collegiate swimmers. Remember?
Yeah. And it's funny because
Duke, and
they're swimming, and they were on the barge and they're waiting for everybody. And the one guy, I can't remember his name, he's a lead guy. He's like, he wanted to win it. There's no, and again, there's not a race.
The SEAL.
They were chatting away about it, and the guy said, "Why don't you join the SEAls?" To the swimmers, and the SEAls. The swimmers go, "No,
I'm good." That guy's name was,
what's that guy's name?
Mark. I forget his last name, but he just rotated out too, because he was actually an instructor. He finished as an instructor at Buds in Cornell Island. So he just rolled out. I mean, so he was so fit. I mean, that guy was.
Oh, I know. And he was motivated.
And he was way ahead of the pack.
He was mad because there isn't enough police there. They got to have the police there to monitor, make sure nobody drowns. And when it's fewer people, obviously it's not as big of a deal. But because there's so many, and there'll be more this year, everybody has to wait on the barge. So he wasn't too happy. In fact, he had to wait.
I got a very heated phone call from I won't mention his name. Great guy, but he said, "Mark, you got to keep you guys together." I said, "Oops, yeah, you're right."
Yeah. Good luck with that, though. I mean,
I know. 140 alpha males. Good luck.
And they'll go do that swim all by themselves, and we didn't care what anybody says. So they think to themselves, "Why do I have to wait for anybody?" Yeah.
Like leaving for the weekend and telling your teenage kids, "Hey, don't have a party." Yeah, we're good.
That's true. That's true.
So it'd be good.
That'd be good. Again, that's gigofund.org, right?
Correct. One word, GI. So it's gigofund.org.
Yeah. I know I've told the story before, but there's one guy, I feel so bad I didn't remember his name. There's a couple of stories from it. The one with the scar on the stomach story.
Oh, Bill Braun. Yeah.
Yeah. So Mark and I are standing there with this one team's guy, and he noticed I had my shirt off and I've got a scar from my spleen taken out. And he looks, he says, "Oh, you guys have the same scar." So I just assumed he had his spleen taken out. And I think he kind of set me up for it. It was very funny the way he did it. And I said, "Oh, did you lose your spleen too?" He says, "No, I got shot." He said, "They just have to move some parts around inside my body." Okay. Yeah. So I think I'm pretty tough, getting my spleen taken out. And this guy just got shot, or not just got shot, but he got shot.
So this year, Jason Redmond is going to be there. And if anybody knows about Jason, he was severely injured in Afghanistan. He was shot through the jaw. When you see a photo of him, you may recognize him because he's a pretty public figure. He's a motivational speaker and really just a superhuman being. And he's going to be there this year.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'll be right up. We had, the other story was this one guy, fantastic guy. I can't remember his name. We were just chatting for a while, but he knew we were talking about me doing motivational stuff and everything. And he says that every day he writes himself a contract. And in that contract, the deal is that he's going to get better today than he was yesterday. And I said, as soon as I came out of his mouth, I said, "Can I use that line?" He says, "Absolutely." And I've used that both, right? I just think it's fantastic. Like some of the way those guys speak to, I know we talked about it so many times, and you and I think you've learned a lot from them too. That when they ask you a question or they're engaged in a conversation with you, like they're fully engaged, right? They're looking at you in the eye and they're listening to what you're saying. It's not just like the courtesy of saying, "Hey, how you doing?" It's no, they want to learn something from you, right?
So my experience personally with the SEALs and what I've read and my understanding of just the whole way Navy SEALs operate, they're offensive. They don't do any defensive work. So everything they do is mission or task orientated. So they don't move until they gather every bit of information and intel they can. And it's a well planned out, executed mission. And that's why I think, Tom, you and I notice that when we speak to them, they listen to everything we're saying because they're so trained to gather information, and process it and come up with a conclusion. It's pretty, and that's one of the things that beside the physical attributes of being a Navy SEAL and the bravery and everything that goes along with that emotionally, is the fact that I've been told the SEAL community learn to learn. It was like one of the biggest things after you get through the physical part of BUDS and all that, and then you start training up. It's learning to learn because, there's an enormous breadth of stuff they have to learn. Arctic training, desert training, underwater training, parachuting, weapon systems, nav, calling in airstrikes. It's a really pretty impressive resume of what they need to know.
Yeah, you ever notice sometimes, this is a small little thing, but I guess I've noticed it more now because of dealing with the teams guys. When you're having a conversation with somebody, they've asked you a question, then they don't let you complete your answer. They're interrupting you.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's the thing. This person really isn't engaged in this conversation. They're just they're having a conversation by themselves, basically. And I've noticed myself. I've done it too, and I continue to do it. I catch myself, like stop. Like, maybe you've got a point, and you want. I think you and I have done it each other sometimes in the show that you've got a point you want to get through, and you don't realize.
I think for me, I want to get it out before I forget it.
That's true.
That's part of the problem.
I don't know. That's true.
And then, of course,
Go ahead,
I was going to say we're forgetting one of our favorite of all time, Mr. Kenny Bigby.
Oh, Kenny.
Yeah, Kenny's awesome.
One of the best. We did a podcast, I think, before the first swim that I was involved in, which was the second swim, and we were just talking about things in general, and exchanging ideas. And I told about closing the gap in hockey and how I believe in that in life as well. And I think most people understand it's not that complicated thing. I'm a defensive defenseman. If there's a forward or somebody carrying the puck towards me, I want to close the gap. I want to allow at least amount of space between us as possible. Now I'm in much more control. And I said, I think that's the same thing in life. If there's something coming your way, you want to control it again. Don't let that thing control when it gets to you. You control that. And when I said that to Kenny, he goes, "Oh man, I like that." Yeah. Like that. Like he, just like you said, he'd learned. He was listening. And it's not like I taught him something. It was just the language we used. I've thought about that a lot with him. He's a cool guy. Very cool.
He's awesome.
Yeah. Barry Shelley's asking you a question here, and I forgot about this myself. I did see this. How was your dog, Sophie?
Yeah, she's much better, Barry. Believe it or not, the diagnosis was she slipped a disc in her back.
Really?
So it might have been jumping off the bed. I mean, seriously? Slipped a disc in your back?
So how did were they able to fix that?
Pardon?
Were they able to fix that, or how were they doing?
Well, believe it or not, there's animal chiropractic. So they're probably going to set her. So she's on some anti-inflams to bring down the cause of the pain. And then early on, some painkillers. But, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, who would have thought?
Yeah, dogs do have hip and back problems too, yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, they're always pushing off the back and jumping off the back. And But, but thank you, Barry. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, cool. Good. All right, everybody. So Rangers lost last night, 3-2. They play again tomorrow.
We need a little more out of that first line, 5-on-5.
Yeah, the kid line's got to be a little bit. They do a lot, but I think you just come to expect so much from them now because they play so well. Yeah. So it happens too. If Strome doesn't play, what they'll do there. He was
Trouba probably had his toughest game of the whole playoffs so far.
Yeah,
it's going to happen.
Yeah, and Strome. I mean, they can survive the loss of Strome. I mean, it's going to hurt. He's their second line center. Yeah, they can move other people around to cover up for that.
But he was pretty good on a draw, right, Tom?
Yeah.
And that's going to hurt because they couldn't win a teaser.
Goudreau's there, and he's playing well. So actually, he went off there blocking a shot too and came back.
Man, that's what I said. Those are those like typical kid. I hate to put it this way, but like when I had the junior team, all the Canadian kids were the same, diving in front of pucks and just tough kids, and they play that Canadian kind of honest. I call it an honest hockey player, right? Nothing really super flashy, but
yeah, it's one of those. What I think it is, particularly with the Canadian kids. They've heard stories for many years about how a guy gets hurt and comes back and plays, and now you want to be, because I've done it myself. I remember those moments when you're hurt, and the trainer's leaving it up to you. So Tom, if you can't go, you can't go. We fully understand it. But you think to yourself, no, I want somebody talking about me down the road that I wouldn't play with some injury like that. It's crazy. I remember when I ruptured my spleen in Boston, and they went and got the ambulance and the gurney and everything, and they wanted to put me on the gurney. I said, nope. I walked in here. I'm walking out of here. So I walked out bleeding internally and everything.
Luckily, you didn't die. God.
Oh, yeah. I think about it now like, you idiot.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Good. Barry's got a question here. All right, here we go. What is the training session you had on about running, carrying a small ball, and hitting it as you run, chasing it? All about.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's this young man, Mike Donofrio, that I train, and a really athletic kid. He So what I do is I have a small ball. I gotta be careful how I say this. I have a small ball, Tom, and it's like I think it's a racket.
One small ball you have?
That's all I got. Yeah, one small ball. Yeah. But you can use any ball. And what you do is you're throwing jabs with your left hand while you have the ball in your left hand, and then you release it and you throw a quick right hand. You got to grab the ball. So it's a little eye-hand coordination, a little quickness drill. And then when it's in your right hand, you move around, and then you flip it forward, and you got to grab it like like you're jabbing real quick. And you just kind of – so that's one drill. Now, what I had him doing, though, was a conditioning drill where you're going from one side of the football field to the other, where you double jab, you release the ball, and you're actually striking the ball. So it requires accuracy because the ball is pretty small. Right. And when you hit it, it flies across the field. You got to sprint to it, grab it, and repeat the process. And then coming back, you toss it up and you hit it with a left hook. And it goes that way. You got to sprint to it, get it, throw it up. Boom. Cool. Yeah. So
I like that. That's very cool. Man.
Yeah, it's a fun little drill. So you got some skill work in there. You got some accuracy, eye-hand coordination. And then, of course, the sprinting is just, great conditioning work.
Right. Yeah. I think before you mentioned about things you have to do that you don't necessarily like doing. And I've got that love-hate relationship with the kettlebells now. I love the results I get from it, how I feel, but it's like that one you go, oh, God, I got to do those again.
Yeah, there are really so much you could do with those things. There's a guy on Instagram, Tom, I'm going to send you to. It's a Russian guy, right? And he does great stuff with the kettlebell. Really great, very unique. Nothing really super freaky, but just really good stuff that I enjoy. I do some of it.
I recommend everybody. If you have to have one exercise for your overall body workout, if you had to choose one, for me right now, it's kettlebell. I think. Yeah. No, it's a great tool to use. I love them, and you can throw them in a car. You walk them out to the field. You got a handle and just go to work. Yeah. Cool. All righty, buddy. Great to have you again there. Geez, look at you, how dark you're getting.
Yeah, I know.
That time of the year. You got your shorts on, no shoes, sandals. What do you got?
No shoes. I got the shorts on. I don't know if Barry noticed, but I took that picture on the bench with my flip-flops on, but I don't think he could see my feet.
Oh.
And that was the whole point. I wanted to show Barry Shelley I'm coaching on the bench with my flip-flops on.
All right, brother. We'll see you next week. See you, buddy.
All right.
Have a great day.
Have a good one.